As the digital landscape continues to reshape how we connect and advance our careers, LinkedIn has solidified its position as the go to platform for professional networking and growth. Many professionals harbor fears about using LinkedIn, which can hinder the ability to leverage the platform for career advancement. In this conversation, I sit with Maukeni Ribeiro, a writer and brand strategist, as we aim to demystify these fears and provide practical strategies to overcome them. Enjoy this episode. Okie dokie. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the TechSep podcast, where we navigate today's tech wave, one electrifying conversation at a time. I am your host, Raymond Klutse, and today I have the ever effulgent. I use this word on a lot of people, but I'm glad I'm using it on Kenny. I have Kenny Ribeiro today to talk to us about an area that I believe she's specializes in a lot. It's the area of social media and career growth, especially the elephant in the room, the one that people don't mostly like to be at. We're talking about LinkedIn today. People have a lot of fears about LinkedIn, and I want Kenny to come on board to help demystify all the things and help people have a better outlook professionally and see how they can leverage LinkedIn for their career growth. So Kenny, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me. I am looking forward to the conversation. This is one of my favorite topics, actually. So
Well,
I'm
I
happy
know
you
there
brought
was
me
no
on.
one else. When I reached out to Patty and she mentioned Kenny, I was like, why didn't I think about Kenny? Because I know Patty is very well versed when it comes to Instagram in general. But LinkedIn, I was like, who? I know Joel Arneman. I've spoken to him before. Then she mentioned Kenny. I was like, you know what? This is a time to engage with Kenny. Anyways, Kenny, in the shortest amount of time, I would like you to, introduce yourself. If someone who does not know about Kenny Ribeiro should see this podcast, what are the few words that you would like them to know about Kenny?
Wow, short amount of time. That's tricky for a talkative, but we'll try. My name is Kenny Ribeiro. I am a brand strategist, a comms professional, and I'm a writer. That's how most people originally know me. I
Mm,
have over the last decade written stories about everything under the Ghanaian sun. I have
right.
developed brands across Africa. And right now, I sit on Twitter and talk about politics and Jesus.
The two most important things right now, how can we sustain, the political climate in our country, and also how can we sustain our spiritual lives? For those who know, for those who are listening, we're both Christians, so we are very proud of our faith. Okay, so let's go back into time. People discover writing at different stages of their lives. Maybe they started a creative writing class, or maybe they were encouraged by their teacher, or maybe they used to go to the library, or this a book club. I remember there was one book club that was very famous back in the time in Ghana. I can't really remember. But anyways, people have different times where they just discover the art of writing. What was it like for you? Would you say you were pushed into it, or you chanced, like you just found that hobby and then you made it into a career?
So I think it's twofold, actually. The first thing is English is not my first language. I was born in Germany. And so I originally learned how to speak German and Ghana. That was it. But my parents were coming to Ghana and they wanted me to join my class to go to class one. And I had zero English vocabulary. So it was a lot of reading, reading to
Right.
put the words in my head.
Mm.
Unfortunately, fortunately, I became addicted to reading so much so that I had to start wearing glasses by the time I was 8 because I used to sneak like a torchlight into bed to continue reading
Wow.
after bedtime and all of that. So that was I built the vocabulary from that. But then
Mm.
my dad also noticed that I could not keep quiet. I was always talking.
Mm.
And because he would indulge me, he'd realize like I pick up all sorts of details. So it seemed like I was good at noticing stuff.
Mm.
So he encouraged me to start writing. I remember the first essay I wrote to myself, my teacher actually told my parents they should stop helping me to write my work. And they said no. I did it myself.
Wait, let's pause there. I'm sure that is this generation's version of Chat GPT.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
think Chat GPT wrote
yeah,
your work,
yeah,
but
yeah.
continue.
and said, no, I did it myself. And then I realized, okay, maybe I'm actually really good at this thing. And
Right.
but I never really thought that it would define my life the way it has.
Mm,
But
mm.
yeah, that's how I stumbled into writing by
Uh,
accident, really, and by
that's
talking
it.
too much.
Well, but two
Yeah.
talkatives here, two talkative people here about to, see who can battle one, one than the other. Okay, so if you stumbled into writing, I'm assuming that you had other dreams when you were growing up. Maybe the traditional ones that sometimes our parents inject in us. Which one was it?
I was going to be the UN Secretary General.
Ah,
Yeah. I was very
that's it.
convinced.
Right.
Like after Kofi Annan, I was the next Ghanaian that was going to be UN Secretary General. I didn't know about anyone else.
Okay. Oh.
So I was very interested. I guess maybe that's why I'm still interested in politics. I'm
Right.
curious about how
Right.
nations run and all of
Mm,
that. So
mm.
I was ready. Oh. My
What?
languages were on lockdown. Like I have the German, I was looking
German.
for the French. Now
Right. Now it's changed. God has a way of changing plans. That's
I mean, I
interesting.
still feel like maybe I'll
It's
become
still
an
possible.
internationally acclaimed writer and I'll
It's
use the
still
languages.
possible. It's still possible. I think I
Well,
was. I was watching an episode of the Diary of a CEO, and it was a journalist. She was talking about like a very interesting topic, and she's a journalist, but like her knowledge in like on the topic and how she's also a writer. I think it's still possible. There's a way to be able to, I
to
believe there's a
carry
way to be able
across.
to, yes, carry things across. And writing is powerful because at the end of the day, we are just stories being written every day, right? So I don't think you should throw it away. Maybe you may not necessarily be in the office, but I'm sure your voice can still be lent there to make some great change.
Well, on that front, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Well, so in our heads, you're still the UN Secretary General. At least in my head.
Let me do the DMZ post.
Okay. All right. So I've seen you a lot on LinkedIn, and I see you do a lot of work with career growth, and I realize that you have this knack for early career development. Where does that stem from? Is it from your experience of probably not having people who held your hand, or having people who held your hand along the way, and seeing the importance of that, especially for an area like writing, which may not necessarily have that um how should I call it, that money generating ability, or quick money generating ability in Ghana as compared to the traditional accountant, engineer, and the others.
So you know the funny thing about LinkedIn, I don't know how it became this pivotal to my life. I'll
Mm,
be very honest,
right.
because I join every social media platform with the let's see what's there, just to see what's there. That's how I
Mm,
joined Twitter. Actually, I'd finished NSS and I wanted to get a job. And so I just wanted to see, okay, if I'm going to do something that requires social media management, I should be able to say I know how Twitter works. So I
right.
opened Twitter. It was just,
Right.
let's see what happens there.
Right.
Now it's a very a very pivotal part of my life, just like
Mm,
LinkedIn. But with
mm,
LinkedIn, I also opened it so many years ago. And even then I feel like I didn't fully understand how powerful that app was. It was really just there. It's one of those we are supposed to have, so I have one. But
right.
I think over the last 2 years, or 2.5 years, I've started realizing that LinkedIn is a very, very, very powerful tool for
Mm,
thought leadership, for visibility, for even like generating leads if you're an entrepreneur, all sorts of things.
right.
Um, so I think I just started taking it seriously, and I will be very honest. I think it was God. I'm sorry, I'm,
Mm.
I'm a Christian. I can't.
We are Christian. We can't. We
I think it was
it's
God.
not incongruous. It's part of us altogether. So go for it. It's a safe space here.
I was just going through a really rough season in my
Right.
career, actually,
Right.
and most people would say that's the wrong time to be posting on LinkedIn because.
Mm,
I mean, if you're going through it in like in your office, you don't want to
right.
now come and start showing yourself
Right.
on LinkedIn. But
Exactly.
I used to just, whatever happened at work, if something great happened, I'd write about it. But what caught my eye was senior colleagues would
Mm.
come to me as in the industry. So other
Mm.
communications experts would DM me and say, "Oh, you're doing such a great job with this project or that project." And I thought, huh, because it's just something we've done internal comms that I thought it's cool. I have a picture of it, so let me post.
Mm.
Because as for
Right.
talking there, that's my talent. So
You
I
don't
know how
do it
to
every
talk.
day.
So I'll just put a picture up and write something. But I kept having comments in my DMs. I'd
Mm.
have people say, "Oh, this is a good idea. Can I borrow it?" And these are people that I consider like role model level. They were
Right.
giving me props for little things.
Mm.
And I thought, huh, it made me realize one, LinkedIn is full of real people. I think that's the
Right.
one thing that people
Right.
forget. So
Mm.
if you DM the Barack Obama account, the likelihood that he will see it himself rather than a handler is high because
Right.
it's your personal
No
professional
professional
account.
account.
So
Right.
people tend to take that more seriously. Even if
Seriously.
they have someone helping them, they
Right.
look at what happens there from time to time as opposed to
Right.
having someone handle it completely.
Right.
So it made me realize, well, it's a place of people, and as for connecting with people, that's something I don't struggle with.
Mm.
So I told myself, at least once a month, I'll come and write something that's happening at work that I think
Mm.
is great.
Mm.
Interestingly, around that time, we started rolling out a campaign. It was a digital campaign for
Mm.
a micro insurance product. At the
Mm.
time, I was working in insurance, and
Mm.
it was very well. I thought it was an exciting project, but I didn't really talk about it while it was happening. My plan was to talk
Mm.
about it when it was done. But
Right.
because I had been talking about my job and the things I was doing, people were already associating whatever they were seeing online, on TV, on radio with me.
Mm.
So it
Okay.
made me realize, wow, I'm getting all sorts of visibility, secondhand visibility, just by even pushing the company's visibility.
Right.
Then I started feeling like, okay, let me, I was working in a multinational. So let me
Right.
look for people around the world who
Mm.
are doing things like this, who are in marketing and comms, who are doing things in the insurance industry.
Mm.
So I would send friend requests to, like every day, I would send like 20 friend requests.
Mm.
And 90% of the time, they would actually accept my friend request. I
Mm.
remember I sent a friend request to the CEO of Prudential Global,
Right.
and he accepted my friend request. And I said, okay,
That's
because you see,
that's shocking because you people of like high echelon, like those who are up there, you don't expect them to probably want to associate with you necessarily.
and now I get it because
Mm.
today, if someone sends me a friend request, I go and look at what is there.
Right.
Are you someone I want in my network?
Right.
Is there content on your feed that will be beneficial to me or
Right.
beneficial to other people that are in my circles?
Right.
Are you someone that I might possibly need to connect to in future?
Right.
And I realized even the little things of just showing this is what we did to celebrate Workers' Day. This is what we did to do this. These are some of the challenges we've had with this. This is how we are
Right.
navigating this. Made
Mm.
me look like a person of value because I was talking
Mm.
about internal comms and external comms, which interestingly is not something that everybody knows how to do. They know
Right.
about it, but they don't know how to navigate it. So I realized I had all sorts of people around the world. And I don't think there's any country that I don't have anybody connected to.
Wow.
Unless there's maybe some country in Asia that I don't know about. But
Maybe you don't see the
most
language.
as often as I can, I'm
Right.
completely trying to broaden that network.
Mm.
And I know people will think, why would you want to do that? What if you send their friend request and they
They
ignore you?
reject. Right.
The best they can say is reject. I lose nothing. It
Mm.
doesn't even show on my feed that Katie was rejected. There's nothing like
Right.
that. So
Right.
just shoot your shots. Sometimes
Right.
just say, "Hi, I've been following your content on XYZ, and I think it's great, and I'd love to learn more. I'd love to connect with you." That's it. And I have connected with CEOs across the world. Like, I don't know where else I'll get that kind of access, except you
Right.
maybe stumble upon them in an elevator or you attend a
Right.
conference with them.
Right.
But even with
Right.
that, you have a leg in because I can
Mm.
DM you and say, "Hey, I'm also going to be at this conference. I'll pop by to say hi." I don't need to go through a secretary. It's through your DM. So
Right.
I've literally seen how the world opens up to you if you use LinkedIn.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm sure you have other questions. So I'll come to the opportunities that LinkedIn has opened up to me. But
Right,
it was
right,
really just let me just be posting the things, even though life is lashing me. It's okay.
right. I can only
um,
imagine.
yeah. And it really just took off. At a certain point, I remember I would walk up, I'll go somewhere and someone say, "Oh, I know you from LinkedIn. We are not even connected, but the person has been reading my stuff, so they know me."
Right,
I'm like,
right.
okay,
That's
this
interesting.
is this is
There's something
amazing.
here.
Yeah,
There's something
yeah,
here.
yeah,
There's something here.
yeah.
Okay, so for most of the time abroad, and because I'm based in UK, I see how schools and generally even family or parents have a way of encouraging their kids to go on such platform because they may be benefiting from it themselves. But in Ghana, for some reason, there is this fear or there is this stigma around LinkedIn, especially because people feel that the job openings that they see there may not necessarily be theirs. And most of the time, maybe some of the Ghanaian companies are not using LinkedIn to publicize their job openings. Why do you feel like the typical Ghanaian just sees LinkedIn to be this toxic place where everyone just goes to go and package? Because abroad, I see people post similar content abroad, and you see their friends in the like in the comment section, so proud of you, you're doing amazing, even if it's layered with a bit of jealousy. I mean, we don't know what's people's minds, that's fine. But the typical Ghanaian would not even want to even make an attempt to even show that, oh, I started my small bakery business or something, with the fear of someone feeling like they're starting small. Like, why is it like what I know there's a cultural aspect, but why is that fear there? And what can we do differently?
I think is you're right. It's really the cultural thing.
Mm,
We are very Arinipan Kasa. You don't blow your own horn. Let
mm,
others
mm,
praise you.
mm,
And because LinkedIn is literally talking about your journey, and I
mm,
don't, I do not believe it should just be about the things you are doing great,
mm.
because um all of us are failing at a certain point.
Come on.
Every single person is struggling through something, even if you are a CEO, a multi-billionaire, even if you are a serial entrepreneur, there's something you failed at before that someone
Mm,
is failing at today,
mm, mm,
and will benefit from that clarity if you could share. But we feel like, let me keep my struggles and how I made it close to my chest so that no one will just copy me and now become better than me. It's a selfish thing. It's also a, we don't talk about the things we do here, let people say it and say. And then I also really think it's because the generation before us hasn't really understood the power of LinkedIn. And so the challenge is, hey, you are trying to outshine your bosses. Why are you posting on LinkedIn when
mm.
your CEO and your your senior managers
Yeah,
are not
that
posting on
seniority
LinkedIn?
kind of complex, right?
What do you know that you are posting there? When did
Mm,
you come? So
right.
people will just, you know what? Mm-mm. If the company posts something, I'll repost. But like on my own personal
Mm,
page, no, I don't have anything to say.
right.
But I keep telling anyone who would listen that, you see, LinkedIn is a fantastic way to build your personal brand. People go there, one, to check out company news, to check out what's happening in the career world. But people are also social, so they gravitate to people they can connect with.
Mm,
Um, Aside that, it's a good way to demonstrate your expertise without even having to talk. So I have walked into meetings or into pitches or even
mm,
interviews and not
right.
had to talk too much because I've done all the talking on my LinkedIn. And
Mm.
my LinkedIn is synced to
Your
my
elevator
website.
pitch,
It's
right?
synced to my everything. And the thing is Kenny Ribeiro everywhere. So just type Kenny Ribeiro,
Mm,
you see me, you and all of that just is demonstrating my personality because you see me record videos. So you can say, okay, she knows how to talk, or she's not shy of the camera. I'm
mm,
giving you pieces of who I am without
mm,
even making it look as if I'm trying hard for a job or a pitch or
mm,
whatever it is.
right.
And like I always say, it's like dropping little cookies. People
Mm,
are forming impressions about you every single day as they scroll through WhatsApp status. It's the same thing as they scroll through Instagram stories, Snapchat streaks. It's the same thing with LinkedIn. And I think Ghanaians are literally doing themselves a disservice because maybe they'll say WhatsApp, I can just block my boss from seeing and just feel free.
mm,
But you see, your boss is, unless it's a blood covenant, your boss will not be your boss for life.
Exactly.
Your boss will not be your boss for life. Even
Exactly.
if you are in the same company with them, one of you will retire, one of you will move.
Exactly.
So you can't tie your career to your boss.
Mm-mm.
You can't tie your
Entire
career
existence
trajectory
to
to
one
one
particular.
person. Mm-mm.
No.
That's the
No.
one thing I think Ghanaians haven't figured out yet.
Mm.
Plus, if you are, and they think it's for those who are in the corporate world. I keep saying someone that I completely admire is Kofi Kinata. He's a musician who
Mm.
does not play with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Actually, you should check him out.
Yeah.
He's always sending friend. If you send him a friend request, he'll accept. If you send him, he will send you a friend request. If you comment on something, he will like it. He is actively engaging, and that's why someone like that can very easily become a, let's say, UN Goodwill ambassador. He is
Mm.
building a certain presence that goes beyond the albums that are streaming, because I think we are getting to a point where it's no longer about the influencer who has the most numbers. It's the influencer that
Mm.
can drive content, the influencer
Mm.
that can influence conversation. So even influencers have a place on LinkedIn.
Right.
Everybody has a place on LinkedIn.
Right.
If you're a
Right.
human being and
You
you
have a
want
place.
to work, you want to do any kind of work, you have a
You
place on
have a
LinkedIn.
place on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Whether you are just a voiceover artist, because there are people on LinkedIn who are looking for voiceover artists.
Exactly. Exactly. I keep saying that people are just, robbing themselves of great opportunities by just wondering, okay, what will people say? I remember I grew up in a home where I've always been, for those who get to see me later, or if you see, like, if you meet me for the first time, you would think that, this boy is doing too much. But if you've known me from back in the day, I've even toned down to some extent. My parents, my parents my parents are not surprised by the things that I'm doing. I refer to myself as Mr. Important Poto. I'm a plethora of things. I'm not one thing. I can be what you want me to be at a particular point in time. And that's what my parents did for me. I've done singing, I've done dancing, I've music, writing, language, tech, cooking, which is now I've gone back to my favorite. I'm even about to finish my
Baking.
blog baking. I'm going back to my first love, cooking and all. But the thing is, my parents allowed me to explore my creativity, and these are things I actually even share on my LinkedIn as well. If you go on my LinkedIn, you will see you not just see tech. Although I have the tech self podcast and everything, and I try to tell people that there's more to you than just this 9 to 5, whatever it is. Just share your thoughts or share the things you want to do. You'll be very surprised by letting people know that I speak French. A friend of mine was looking for a voiceover artist or to do a presentation at this, was it Nafti, or yes, yeah, Nafti, and my name came to mind. I did the voiceover, and it also added to my brand. Now people reached out, and like, so I just keep telling people, sit down and think about what you want to do. If you want to just, be there to engage with other content, that's fine. But there is so much. I mean, all of us should be all of us should be creators, but because we are from a creator, so all of us have a creative, aspect of us. But that fear of how it's going to be accepted or how people are going to think about us, 99.9% of the time, people don't really care. I keep trying to tell people, we are all living in our bubble in our lives where we only just, like sit on pockets of people's experiences, reply to that post and everything. But in the grand scheme of things, when I go to bed, I go to bed alone. Even if you're married, you will still go to bed alone with your own body. You are never, like, you are still an individual. So think about the things you want to share. Now let's get back into the sweet spots for you in terms of LinkedIn. What are some of the major experiences or exposure or opportunities you had on LinkedIn since you joined or took it seriously?
So I've had headhunters reach out to me for jobs.
Mm,
And before that, I didn't even know this was happening in Ghana. I've had
mm,
people reach out to me on at least three occasions to say, just based off your LinkedIn, I think you'd be a great fit for this role I'm hiring for.
mm,
Can you send me your CV? And
mm,
even because I'm constantly telling the story of what I'm doing, it gives you a certain added level of credibility. So
right,
even when you are negotiating salaries and things like that, it's a, oh, okay, you're a big madam, I understand. So you, this is my money. It's
right,
no longer what makes you think you can, because
right.
I've constantly demonstrated all the things I'll tell you in the interview. I've demonstrated them. I've shown you the results. I've shown you the reach. I've shown you all of it without even trying to make it look like I'm selling, because I'm not. I'm
Mm,
just telling a story
mm,
of
mm,
my career journey.
mm,
Again, I have connected with ambassadors. I've spoken to CEOs. I have had chief technical officers of big tech firms just subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. I'm like, what?
the Kenny
I
rivalry
remember
effect.
I said, okay, what do you think you will get from this newsletter? But then
Mm,
I'm sure there's something, because there are lots of newsletters on LinkedIn. There's not every
mm,
single one you're subscribed to. So
mm,
for the person to look at it and click subscribe makes me think there must be value in the content I'm pushing out at some point.
mm,
So
mm,
it has really opened up my network
mm,
beyond Ghana. I can tell
right,
you that for free.
right.
So much so that some of my friends tell me they feel like if I have to relocate, I won't
You
suffer
ve-
because of
right.
how I am constantly churning out
Being
content,
connected,
and that it will
right.
be an easy way for me to just meander into another world.
Mm,
So one, exposure;
mm,
two, that kind of visibility that gives you side gigs, that gives you other speaking opportunities, that gives you all sorts of things. This year, I won two different awards that I know are solely based off my LinkedIn, because
mm,
they are not awards I applied to. Some of them I didn't even know existed until they
mm,
came to tell me you won this award. And it made me realize, well, people are really not telling their stories, because
mm,
I'll be the first person to say, I don't think I'm the most qualified PR professional, but I
mm,
think I'm one of the most vocal. So
mm,
the thing is, when people are looking for PR professionals, they won't find the people who have 20 years experience, because they're not telling those stories. They would only find those of us who have been there for 10 years, because we've been talking about what we've learned and how we are doing this and that, sharing our opinions on how even political communication can be improved and things like that. All of that is just leaving seeds in people's minds of, this person is competent, this person has the
mm,
skill.
right,
So the day I'm looking for something, I don't need to struggle.
right.
And LinkedIn has also been like a treasure trove of mentors and sponsors. So there are people who are recommending me for things that I've never met, simply because over time they've engaged with my content, they've seen who I am, and they think, oh, this is someone that I can get behind. So in I it has been fantastic, and I feel like I can't talk about that enough. If you are not active on LinkedIn, you are shooting yourself in the foot in the long run. It's beyond. Even if you don't want to write anything, you should expand your network. By all means, if you are, let's say, a pharmacist, you must have pharmacist friends all across Africa. You must have pharmacist friends all across Asia, all across Europe. Everywhere there are pharmacists, just send them a friend request. Send, oh, hi, I noticed that we both studied this and this. I'm looking for something on this and that. I have friends in Malaysia who I am connected to simply because I was talking about things I was doing in internal communication. They are not even in internal comms, but they thought it was interesting and they showed it to their internal comms person. Can you see how the network is expanding? If I go to Malaysia, I will not be hungry. I will definitely have people I can connect with. So that's really what I think. It has just opened up the world to me. All sorts of opportunities that I probably would never have known if I had just said, nah, let's wait until we are in a better place before we can. So please, LinkedIn. I know it looks like everyone is packaging, but I keep saying, first of all, the most sustainable personal brand is one that is authentic, so that you can sustain it. If I come and I'm always looking like, let's say, I originally wear glasses and I'm heavily dependent on my glasses, and I build a personal brand of, okay, no glasses. And then one day you have to go and speak in public and they're showing you something, maybe a sign that says it's almost time for you to, the time is up, but you can't see it because you are trying to package and look like what you are not. Dear, in the long run, just be who you are. That's who you, and people can always tell when you're faking. Oh, I promise you. They may not say anything, but they can tell that it's like you wearing a shoe that is new, that you haven't tried before. You know that your walking is not as accurate as if it's something you are comfortable in. So build a personal brand that's authentic. That way it doesn't feel like packaging. Yes, some people are lying, but if you are focusing on building a personal brand that will give you value and you continually tell the truth, I can tell you for a fact that you will always be placed higher than whoever it is that's being fake. Because HR people are looking for people they can connect with. Business partners are looking for genuine human beings. Um, Mentors are looking for people whose character they can vouch for. So just be authentic, be yourself. It doesn't matter where you are, even if you are just, I just started. You have the experience of just starting in 2024 when there's AI. I didn't have that. So there's something you have that I cannot relate to. So tell that story. And I think that's the problem. People think I don't have anything to say. That's not true. Which is shameless plug, which is why I have this personal branding workshop. Because most people feel like I don't know where to start. You know where to start. You just haven't been intentional about, okay, this is what to do, this is how to do it. That's really it.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And you said shameless plug. No shameless plug here. Please plug it. Plug it. Plug it. Now, I want you to walk us through, in the shortest amount of time, your content, release strategy. How do you think about content? Do you overthink it? Do you just wake up or do you draft? What are some of the things or tools that you use to prepare to release a particular kind of content?
So my life is very full if you follow me on any kind of social media. So I have to plan. Otherwise, one thing will make me lose track of the other.
Mm,
So what I do is at the beginning of every quarter, I literally think through what do I want to talk about in this quarter.
mm,
So I can give you an example for what I did in the last quarter. I wanted to highlight different things in communication that would help comms professionals.
mm,
So I did a video on you are just starting out in a new role at a comms place. What are the things you should look out for? Again, I thought I was just talking because I was just starting a new role in a comms place. But
mm,
you'd be surprised. I had senior members again reaching out to me to say this is so helpful. I'm thinking, okay. But so I did that. Then I thought, okay, there's another one that's going out today about engaging your stakeholders. There's another one about who to consult when you're putting together an internal comms strategy. These are things that if you're in the comms world, you are not
necessarily
new to.
taught. All right.
But it's not really spoken about, especially as practical in the workspace kind of
Mm,
thing.
mm,
People talk about it in theory,
mm,
but this is what I've found works. This is what I've found helps. So even things like it's not always sometimes you need to get the opinions of certain opinion leaders who are not senior managers, because there
mm,
are people who have been in the company for a long time, and if they say no one should go, it doesn't matter how much you advertise your events, no one will come.
mm,
So engage those people. No one will tell you that unless you've
mm,
experienced it.
mm,
Trust
mm,
me, I have.
mm,
So I've learned that lesson. So
mm,
by just sharing that lesson, I find okay, people are finding it valuable, and sometimes even the comments give me ideas on other ways to navigate things.
mm,
So I'm doing the newsletter, which goes out each month. I'm also doing videos because I found that LinkedIn seems to be pushing videos a lot more these days. So
mm,
I'm
mm,
doing the LinkedIn videos. And every now and then I also do a short post. Maybe something happens at work.
mm,
The most recent one was I was saying bye bye to my NSPs. Again, nothing deep.
mm,
It's not about how long I have worked and how experienced I am
mm,
over them. It's just I'll miss my babies. This is what I
mm,
liked about them. I look
mm,
forward to working with them. Put a picture
mm,
of them there.
mm,
Again, it's one of my most highest engagement posts because
mm.
it seems like people just like
Life, the
human
like
content.
exactly, exactly, exactly. They like to be able to relate to the people
That's
beyond,
all.
the pizzazz, of all the
Precisely.
yeah, exactly.
Precisely.
Okay. You are about to walk a young professional who is getting started with LinkedIn through what you maybe call your LinkedIn playbook. They've downloaded the app, they've seen everything, they're starstruck, they've done that, all that kind of stuff. A quick playbook in a few points. What are some of the key things that you would tell them to do from start to meet from moving from beginner to intermediary?
One, take a picture that shows your face. I will only connect with a person whose face I can see and
Mm,
recognize. Two, use your full name, your real name. Don't rejig it, your name. Put it there. Three, fill this out with all the skills and tips that you have. So if you've worked in a certain place, these are the skills you've built. These are the wins you have. Um, if you have any proof and you can link it, by all means do that. If you are just starting fresh, you don't have any work experience, you have educational experience, put that there and tell us what it is that you excelled at in school. If it is an internship that you did, put that internship in. If you can get recommendations or anyone to endorse your skills and things like that, all of that is great. It proves that you're a person, other people can vouch for you. Um, then once you've set up, put your picture and all of that, don't ghost.
mm,
Every single day, go on LinkedIn and just look at what people are doing,
mm,
look and like, comment, and it's just like Instagram, the way you mindlessly scroll. Do that because one, you would realize that it will give you ideas of what kind of contents to put out. That's the first thing. Two, it will give you an idea of the kind of people that you can be exposed to on LinkedIn.
mm.
Three, people will relate to people who relate to them. So just, oh, this is a great something. I found this insightful because of this and this, or I can draw from my own experience because of this and that. That's all it takes.
Mm.
You are being sociable. You are slowly building that community. I
Mm.
think people forget that LinkedIn is primarily a social
Social
network.
media, right?
Just go and engage.
Mm,
Just go and engage. That's it. The
mm,
first day of work, take a picture of your desk and say new day at work, wish me all the best, or drop a tip on how I can improve. You'd be surprised, people love those kind of things.
mm,
You'd have
mm,
people from Asia telling you. Recent times I found a lot of people from India coming to talk about stuff that I'm doing. So you find someone from Asia who's also, oh, I'm also starting my first day. That's a
mm,
possible connection. So
mm.
just, it's a social app. Just engage politely. Do not be disrespectful in any way because you never know who is a recruiter or who is on the timeline of a recruiter. That because sometimes you see things on your timeline because someone in your network has commented on something, not necessarily that
Listen,
you are connected. So
listen,
you never know how you are exposing yourself to
Kenny.
other people who could have a job for you.
Literally, literally.
Yeah.
I had someone who works in who's a private advisor to people of like of a, like of high financial status just see my podcast and he reached out. He was like, he likes me, he wants us to meet over drinks in London. Now that is a connection that I have. It's not just one that is virtual. His wife knows about me. I know about I do not know whether I've had him on my pod. I don't know where that relationship is going to go, but it was just by one person liking the pod, like the content that I put out. And now he's exposed me to a world of people. And now by even that podcast I've done with him, I do not know what his network looks like. What I know is it's very, very rich. But I
Mhm.
do not know who is in there who may potentially, have the goodies for the next stage of my career. So all these gems Kenny
Or
is
even
dropping.
your possible wife, I'm just saying.
You've gone Otavel on me there. Oh my goodness.
Just
You're
saying,
just saying,
I'm
well, that to
just
be
saying.
fair though,
She's
but
cousin or
disclaimer, fair, but to disclaimer though, just I know a lot of people have also come on LinkedIn to complain about people DMing them and trying to make it turn into Tinder or anything of that sort. There is a way that you can shoot your shot professionally that will capture someone's attention. So yes, it can be, and it's possible, but do that also with wisdom so that you don't end up damaging your brand, because the last thing you want to see is to have someone or reposting intimate conversations with you or with you on the internet. It damages your career and damages so many aspects of your life eventually. Kenny, this has been a refreshing conversation. I've learned so many things about LinkedIn, but talking with you, I believe there's going to be a very good starter pack for someone who is, getting ready. What are some of the exciting things you're looking forward to doing on LinkedIn coming in the next few months? This is the time where you plug Kenny Ribeiro in the full effects.
So, as you know, I've recently started checking out LinkedIn audio events.
Mm,
This was just a let's see where it goes, but it's growing. I can see month on month that it keeps growing,
mm.
and I'm looking forward to maybe at the end of the year doing a big. But that one will be you show
In
your
person.
faces,
Okay.
like a sort of round table to have
Right.
all sorts of experts just talk
Mm,
about different things.
mm,
Because, like I keep saying, I don't know who is helping Gen Z to figure out the work world.
mm,
Even if we don't all understand AI, there are so many things like dealing with bosses, of navigating office politics. You need someone to teach you because most of us have had to learn the hard way, and
mm,
we have the bruises to show for that.
mm,
So let me help you so that you can also help someone. It's literally like paying it forward. So that hopefully by the time I'm ready to, let's say, become a board member or something, I have someone who has watched me help others and think, oh, let me also help you to become a board member. I don't know. It's that's again, it's social capital because
exactly.
with these clarity calls I've been doing for Gen Zs,
Mm,
I've been speaking to people even outside Ghana,
mm,
surprisingly. Again,
mm.
I shouldn't be surprised given how LinkedIn works.
I
But
know.
people outside Ghana have reached out, oh, they just want to understand, okay, I'm struggling with this at work, I'm struggling with that at work. And they are all not foreign. There are things that happen in the workplace, but they don't have
Mm,
anyone to talk to. Even
mm,
figuring out which direction should I go in my career because I like this and I also like this and I also like this.
mm,
They just need someone to talk through
mm,
that with. So
mm,
I'm doing those conversations. I'm also doing a personal branding workshop in September. This
mm,
is called Brand Elevate. Again,
mm,
birthed from all the content I've been putting out on LinkedIn.
mm,
This is supposed to be a one-day workshop where we help you develop a strategy for your personal brand because
mm,
everyone's personal brand is different.
mm.
You can't say Raymond's brand is the same as mine. I
Yeah.
don't bake and sing and play the piano and
You're not Mr. Important Photo.
but there are some intersections. But you
Yes.
can't say my personal brand is the same as his.
Mm,
So we'll just give you a framework for you to develop yours and then figure out how can I generate content that shows my capabilities, that shows
mm,
the kind of value I bring to the table. And then again, thought leadership. It's one thing to say this is my brand,
mm,
it's out there, but constantly showing value in the content that you produce is something that takes just a little intentionality.
mm,
So we'll build that out as well. We'll
mm,
work on your elevator pitch because once you do start improving your visibility, you never know who you'd run into and you need to
mm.
maybe nail that connection. So
Right.
we'll refine those and then we will also work on how personal style affects your personal brand. So I'm bringing
Mm,
on a stylist to talk to you about add this, don't add this, don't do that, just so that, beyond what you're saying on LinkedIn, when someone meets you, their impression of you is not, oh, I was quite disappointed. It should
mm,
match whatever it is that
mm,
you are demonstrating online.
mm,
And then we'll give you free headshots because I can't emphasize this enough. You need to show your face
mm,
wherever it is that you're building
mm,
your brand.
mm,
So it's going to be a fun filled, fully packed day on the
mm,
13th of September. And
mm.
hopefully this will help a lot of people who actually sign up.
Amen.
What else am I doing? If you follow me, we'll talk until
That's
I,
it. I was gonna say leave the
yeah.
rest for them to follow you. But Kenny, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a shining light. Also for being ostentatious. I know I like to use grandiose words with your faith at the same time, also with the things you're doing. And for me, I know I've been to Ghana several times. I haven't met you, but my next trip to Ghana, we are
Yes, we'll
hanging
meet.
out. We are
We'll,
meeting by first.
we'll sit over Newell cakes and
Exactly,
have
Noel cakes and have
fun, fun wholesome
and have a
conversations.
piano on the side where I'll be playing. We will have our personalities intersect. McKinney, thank you so much for
That
making
would be
time.
good. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It is clear that the fears surrounding LinkedIn are not uncommon, but they can be effectively addressed. Engaging with the platform does not have to be daunting. Starting with small actions like commenting on posts and sharing relevant articles can build confidence and foster connections. Emphasizing